How's it going, Jack Tackers, and welcome back to another video for you guys. Today, I'm going to be doing my reviews for the first two episodes of Barry Season 4. Now, I didn't know if I was going to be doing reviews for this season, but I decided what the hell, I have to, because I love the show. And they decided to double up on us so that they can release the Succession and Barry series finales on the same night, I guess, which I don't know if I'll be able to handle that. But overall, I'm actually very glad they decided to drop two episodes because I have missed this show so much. And Barry's back for its final season. I can't believe it. I mean, it's the final one. I'm just kind of stunned, I guess. And I'm just so happy the show's back. But we only have 6 episodes left now. But I don't know. I just love the show. But anyways, we have a lot to unpack in this video, so let's just get into it. First episode was titled Yikes. And the second episode was titled Bestest Place on the Earth, which I feel like are very fitting episode titles for this show because they're kind of kooky, but great. So, of course, after the events of the season 3 finale, Barry is in prison and is struggling quite a bit. You know, he feels tricked by Gene, obviously, and he actually calls Gene from prison to make sure he knows that he loves him. And then Gene ends up telling Barry that he's got him. Now, does Gene actually have Barry's back? Probably not, which is funny because I thought that's what he meant when I was watching the trailers, but it takes on a whole new meaning in this episode, or maybe I'm just stupid. I mean, I would like to think I got you is kind of like, I got your back, but it's definitely not. I think the I got you statement is, yeah, definitely referring to the fact Gene finally got Barry behind bars. You know, I feel like it could maybe be interpreted as a double meaning. You know, maybe Gene has something up his sleeves. Probably not, though. I'm pretty sure Gene just said that to show that he finally won, you know? And now he has his justice for Janice's murder. But we do actually end up finding out that this isn't enough to kind of, I guess, satisfy Gene. And he actually ends up going to the press and kind of puts on this one-man show of what happened between him and Barry throughout the seasons. And he actually does impressions of Barry, which I thought were pretty funny. But yeah, Gene still kind of wants the spotlight and this attention. And I read this kind of interview that I think the Hollywood Reporter did with Henry Winkler. And yeah, they were kind of talking about this. And, Gene calling Barry to tell him that he's got him wasn't enough, which I find very interesting. It definitely adds a lot of complexities and intrigue to the character of Gene, just to kind of show that, he's kind of an attention whore. Anyways, Fuchs is also in this cell block with Barry, and the two have their first face-to-face interaction since season 2, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't think they met in person since the season 2 finale, because I believe they shared a phone call in season 3, but that was it. They didn't have any face-to-face interaction, which that's kind of weird to think about. But yeah, it does kind of seem as though the two are actually going to be friends again. Barry kind of forgives Fuchs. Fuchs wants to finally do right by Barry and not be an FBI informant, although he was going to do it, but then, yeah, he doesn't. But I thought it was kind of wholesome. It was pretty wholesome. I much prefer when Barry and Fuchs are on the same side, and we actually get to see Barry kind of hallucinate the first time they ever meet, when Barry was just, a kid. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Matter of fact, Barry hallucinates or envisions, whatever you want to call it, a lot of things while he's in this prison. He imagines seeing Sally on the stairs outside at one point. And then I think in episode 2, he's imagining him and Sally dancing together at a wedding of some kind. And let me just say, the cinematography in that scene was absolutely incredible. I mean, seeing the transition from the desert landscape that he's kind of envisioning to the inside of that ballroom and them kind of walking down that hall. Actually, I don't think it was them. I think it was some other people, but it was just really well edited and well shot. And I just thought that whole sequence felt very dreamlike. And honestly, these episodes as a whole felt very dreamlike. I don't know. I think a lot of that comes down to Bill Hader's fantastic directing. He directed both these episodes. And I believe he is directing the rest of the season as well. And he also wrote the first episode of the season. But I believe he's directing all the 8 episodes, which is pretty crazy. Bill Hader's just freaking talented, man. Not only behind the camera, but in front of it as well, of course. obviously. That one scene at the end of episode 1 where he's like punching the wall and kind of having a mental breakdown in front of the prison guard was just incredible acting. And when he's talking to the prison guard and says he would kill his whole family, and he's just, Barry's trying to convince himself that he truly is a bad person. But man, that was so well acted. Wow, man, just amazing stuff. And in episode 2, Barry decides to make a deal with the FBI agents and says he'll share all the information about the Oblivion cartel and whatnot, and will basically throw NoHo Hank under the bus. And once Hank catches wind of this, he decides that Barry needs to be killed so he can protect himself and Cristobal, obviously. And this is just absolutely heartbreaking, but a great way to end the episode. But it was just sad to see, because previously in the episode, Hank actually wanted to break Barry out of prison and help him escape, but it appears as though Barry would turn on Hank very easily, so yeah, that just sucks. It'll be very interesting to see how that plot develops, though, because now that Hank has the Guatemalans, I think they were, on his side with this sand business they're getting into, which is hilarious, by the way. They're like not going to be dealing drugs anymore. They're doing business with the sand. But he might be able to easily kill Barry because he has the Guatemalans with him, and this new formation of men with him. So he's got the manpower, is what I'm saying. It's a little worrisome, but who knows? It is just kind of scary to think about because, Barry doesn't really have anyone, doesn't really have many allies at the moment. Also, it seems as though Fuchs thinks Barry turned on him because he finds out Barry's making a deal with the FBI. But little does Fuchs know, Barry actually wants to take Fuchs with him. I mean, he doesn't outright say that, but he wants like a +1. He says this to the agents, so Fuchs just needs to find that information out as soon as possible so he doesn't do anything stupid. But, I mean, I guess he basically already told Hank about the deal, so in a way, he already screwed up big time. Anyways, I love the stuff with Hank and Cristobal at the Dave and Buster's. I thought that was just hilarious. And the cinematography at that round table with like the arc shot was pretty damn rad. It was really cool. Again, Bill Hader's directing. And we also get to see how Sally is dealing with things, of course. She's not doing so hot and goes to visit her parents, and we see that her mom's an asshole. Sally can only really have a reality TV show or podcast at this point in her career, which is pretty tragic, just sad. And I actually haven't always been the biggest fan of her character in this show, but I do kind of feel for her here, especially when she hallucinates the guy from, I believe, last season who tried to kill her. At least I assume it was him on the plane. That was traumatic. I mean, she also ends up visiting Barry at the prison just to make sure that this guy, she doesn't have to worry about him anymore. And I thought it was funny. She calls him Muffin just like as a code word. So obviously no one figures out that she's talking about someone she's just killed. She's talking about like a dog. Very funny. And yeah, it seems as though Sally wants pretty much nothing to do with Barry anymore. It's sad, but again, pretty understandable at the same time. I just hope Barry can have a happy ending. I really do. I mean, he's just such a complex character. And I cannot wait to see the rest of this season, to see what happens. These first 2 episodes were so damn good. Let me just say that. I loved these episodes, by the way. If you couldn't already tell, this show is one of the best shows I've ever seen. And I love it to death. 6 more episodes, though? Man, kind of sad. But it's going to get crazy, if it wasn't already crazy enough. Which I think this start was just fantastic and just what I needed. And watching both Barry and Succession on the same night is destroying my mental health. But whatever. Let me hear your thoughts on these episodes, though, down in the comments below, because I am super curious to see what you guys have to say about them. So, yeah, post all your thoughts and comments down below. What did you think about the episode? Did you think they were underwhelming? Probably not. I'm assuming most people loved it. Yeah, let me hear all that down in the comments. And if you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and please make sure to check out my Twitter and Letterboxd down in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.